And now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the three different models of interactive whiteboards that we have to offer at SNB. We have the electromagnetic that we talked about earlier. We have the infrared and also the all-in-one, our high-end. We're going to be focusing our attention in this section right here to the infrared model. There's actually different writing methods that you can use. You can use your finger itself, you can use the stylus pen, and also a teaching pointer. We have an accessory that actually is telescopic and allows you to stand away from the screen and actually point at the board and also write on the board if you'd like to do so. It's multi-user 6-point, so that means we can actually use 6 fingers on the screen and 6 points of contact. The calibration, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. There's actually 4 different ways you can actually calibrate the system right here. Since we have an overhead projector, this system, if you shake it, you move it, or you change the PC itself, it has to be calibrated to make sure that it's always in accurate mode. And we're telling not only the projector but the PC that it wants to coordinate itself or calibrate itself to be pretty accurate. This is an aluminum alloy frame, which means it's lightweight, but it's also very sturdy. And also you can either use a stand here, or you can mount this on the wall itself. We have a short throw projector here. You can also have a long throw projector if you like. But the concern here is that if you have a long throw, you might have some shadows from my body going to the screen, just like you see right now. So you're going to have to consider that point. Let's move ahead a little bit and take a look at exactly what we have to offer our clients. I'm going to spend a second here to talk about the actual board itself. We talked about aluminum alloy. We have these 18 shortcut keys here. What are these? These are actually hard-coded keys here, these buttons if you will, that allow me to press a button and perform a function or a program. We also have the menu itself that you can also perform those functions. But if you need to be on the left-hand side or the right-hand side of the board and you want to perform some function pretty quickly, then all you have to do is come up here, press one of these little shortcut keys, and it goes ahead and helps you or makes you more productive. The board itself, we have all the connections back here, and all you have to do is connect it, not only the USB cable, but the HDMI cable directly to your laptop or your PC that you're using. This right here is the menu itself. The menu is very, very helpful. It becomes basically your best friend after a while. There's different ways to use this menu. For one thing, it's very portable. So all you have to do is press right here, and you can actually drag it off the screen, and the board becomes very productive. So now you can use 100% of the board itself, because this does occupy space. So what we need to do is move the menu away so we can actually use the entire board if you like. Now, how do I get back to the menu? Well, you have blue tabs here and there on the left-hand side. All you have to do is press that, and your menu reappears again. So it's never gone, it's just hiding in the background, so to speak. So if I bring this back here, let's take a look at the menu itself again. We have this little button here, if you will. It looks like a page, white page. You press that and you have a brand new white page you can work with. This will allow you to blank the board and start working from scratch. You can create new illustrations, new diagrams. You can put more information on there, create a new page, and then move the page off the screen, and then bring another new page in. So at one point in time, all you're doing is being in creative mode. This right here, this background, allows you to actually use different backgrounds. If you don't like just white, you can use the white, you can use black, you can use green if you like, or you can actually use custom. We already have 5 predefined backgrounds that you can use. So all you have to do is pick one of these and it'll bring up the background so you can go ahead and have some type of a nice background illustration to use. I myself personally use different backgrounds from PowerPoint. I decided to port them in, bring them in so I can use them on a periodic basis. But in this case here, I'll just get out of that. I'll press this for pages, and it'll tell me all the pages that I've created in the past. And I want to go to, for example, this page here where we left off. and I'm back there very quickly. So you can have 50 pages out there, and if all you do is go into the page menu option, you can go ahead very quickly and pick the page you like, and it goes directly there. Quick access. These are all the different menu options you can use. For example, writing, you have 11 different options to use for writing, different pen styles. We'll be using some of those in a second. For drawing, you have many different options for drawing. You can use ellipses, triangles, parallelograms, and so forth. We'll be using some of those in a couple of seconds here. So, and then tools, there's a variety of tools you can use, and we'll use some of those as we go along. They have calculators, they have timers, they have protractors, a variety of different things you can use depending on what your exercise is all about. So that's pretty much the page and the menu. These arrows here allow me to move forward and backwards. So we're going back and forth, picking whichever page we want to use. These arrow keys right here, these C's, backward C's with the arrows, is the undo keys. If you're working on an exercise where you're creating some type of a custom diagram or picture and you erase it by accident, all you have to do is press one of these keys and it brings it right back. So it's an undo keys. This right here is the erase key. We have 5 different styles of erasers, and small, medium, and large, depending on the size of the object you're trying to erase. These 2 other ones are for either diagrams or also for irregular size objects. Objects that you created with odd shapes. All you have to do is just touch the object and it'll erase the object for you. Very convenient. This right here is the drag key. This drag key basically is like a hand that moves the screen or the screen information upwards. Or you can move it to the left, to the right, or downwards. This is similar to using an Excel worksheet. An Excel worksheet, as you know, is unlimited space, but you only use whatever you can view on the screen. This is pretty much similar in concept. If we're working on this, we can move this upwards and then create something different and move that upwards. So basically, this is like 2 steps higher, and we can move everything down and update or correct whatever we like. And at one point in time, this picture here, I could create a brand new page and move it to the left, bring the other page up, create that as a page, and move it also to the left. So in one virtual huge page, you can actually create 4 or 5 different pages. So this will allow you to become pretty versatile in whatever you're trying to create. And then also this right here is a select button, the arrow. Basically, you use that for your selection process where you're trying to select a pen and maybe a different color. You can use that and it tells you what pen style you're currently using. So it basically has a lot of information here. Also, if you notice that we have icons here and we have English simple language here written. So it's very user-friendly. It will allow you to use an icon and it tells you basically what it's going to do. In this case here, you know that this right here icon is going to be for writing pens and so forth all the way down. We have some competitors that all they do is have icons and you have to actually use a book, an installation book, to figure out what that icon actually does. This allows you to become very productive on the spot. Very quick, and you're very efficient, and gets you going pretty quickly. Let's move this back here, and let's go to the next page. Alright, this right here, we're going to do a couple of exercises, but what I need to do, since it's kind of dark in the background, is I'm going to select a pen. Let's say a normal pen, and down here, this is my color menu option. Maybe I'll pick yellow. That looks like it'll be able to be pretty visible. And what I'll do is I'll show you basically what the 6-point touch means. This means that you can actually come up here and scratch off or use 6 points of contact at one time. So in essence, you can have one student here using 6 fingers and drawing on the screen or writing some letters or words, whatever the case may be. Or you can have 3 students up here with 2 fingers and drawing or writing at the same time. So this is multi-user functionality. Allows you to use the most students or have the most productivity at one time. Let's continue forward in the writing exercise. We also have a smart brush. The Smart Brush basically allows you to, in one exercise, if you're using, for example, oops, let's change the color on that one. It's too dark. If you're, for example, drawing a circle, as you can see, it was kind of jagged edge. So this will allow me to create a more fresh looking circle. It cleans it up, makes it more formalized. The same thing with triangles, and the same thing with, for example, rectangles. So now you have a very formalized looking object out there. Especially if you have too much coffee in the morning and you have shaky hands, this will actually correct that object and make it look a little bit nicer. Also with the, let's see here, we also have highlighters, for example, that allow me to highlight a certain object, just like a real highlighter would for a book or textbook. You can do that, or you can actually use an emphasizer, which does almost the same thing, but in this case starts flashing. So you may want to stress or maybe flash some symbol or number or a word that's going to be the word of the day or maybe the object of the day. So people will see that, they'll see it flashing, and they know that's very important for the time being. Okay, so that's the emphasize button. Then, let's see here, we have the brush pen. You can just pick a certain color. That basically allows you, if you're doing calligraphy, you can have a real thick style of a pen, or we can change the style and have it thinner. Okay, so you can go to very thick to thin line style. So it's very, very nice to have, very nice to use later on in time. You can also, for example, create. Let me go in here. Where is it? I want to pick a shape. And say, for example, it's going to be a cube. So what I want to do is pick that cube, but as you can see, the walls are white, so it's a little boring. It's not very colorful. So what I'll do is I'll go in here and I'll select, let's say, so I'll go in here. Let's say I want to use a paint bucket. The paint bucket will allow me to actually fill in color. So if I want to fill in this right here and make that orange, and I want to change the other side, maybe I want to pick this and make it green, and then let's say another one, I'll go in there and make it blue. So now I have three walls on my cube that are a different color. So what I can do a step further is I can actually go in here, just select it, and I have a menu option here that allows me to do something with that cube, and I change the color. I'm sorry about that. But I can actually clone this figure, and actually go in here and maybe I want 3 copies. So now I can have 3 copies of the same object, so I don't have to create it all over again and actually do all that work 3 times. This allows me to create 3 different objects, same shape, same style, same color, and make it very, very simple. I can also, within that menu, right down here it says playback. So I can actually take that current page and play back everything I've done. So this gives me the opportunity to actually review everything I've done, the 6 lines, the cube creation, the highlight, the emphasis, and show people all over again what I've done, as opposed to doing it all over again. So it's a time saver, a great time saver. I can also, for example, go in here, oops, I could go in here and let's say I want to just erase that. So I can erase that one, I can erase the other one so in the same format. Or I can go in here and use this button right here and erase the whole screen. That's a clear screen button to allow me to actually erase everything I've done on that screen. So as you can see, it's very productive, very helpful, and very easy to use. I'm going to still use my finger, and in this case here we have an exercise. It could be in a kindergarten class where the instructor is saying, okay, I want all the students to circle all the vegetables. Okay, so I'll go in here and I'll pick